Greetings, my fellow brothers and sisters. I come to you right now in the most precious name of our Father, bringing you a word straight from the throne of grace. Thank you so much for chiming in to this broadcast. I wanted to share with so many of you what it is that the Ruach HaKodesh is sharing with me, so therefore it can best prepare you for the hours that are at hand. First and foremost, it is very vital that we gather whatever you need to build your altars. Build your prayer altars to the Most High Living God. It is the hour right now where we're getting ready to celebrate Passover here on Little Promises on March the 14th. Now, what's interesting is that there's a lot of you who want to challenge me on this date. However, your challenge is not with me. Your challenge is with the Ruach HaKodesh. It is your best interest for you to seek the Father regarding what the Father is telling you during these times. I am not going to go back and forth debating any of you on this channel. You will find yourself in the block mode, and I don't have a problem with that because my mind is so filled right now on making sure that I'm prepared for my own spiritual attacks, as well as making sure that I hear the words, "Enter in thy good and faithful servant." However, we're in the time right now where the energies have amped up. And because the energies have amped up, keep in mind that the Father gives us grace. First of all, he allows us 2 Passovers to celebrate. If you missed the first Passover, he gives you the opportunity to celebrate the second Passover. So therefore, you can make sure that you are keeping the festivity days. So if I choose to celebrate, whether you feel it's on your calendar or God's calendar, if I choose to celebrate Passover early, then good for me. At least I'm celebrating Passover. But for many of you, I highly recommend that you seek the Ruach HaKodesh regarding what it is that you are to do for yourselves in this hour, because all the calendars are off. All the dates are off, and none of them are correct. All of them are off. So all I can do is follow what the Father is telling me and my household. And as for me and my household, we are going to serve Abba Father with all of our heart, mind, body, and soul. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Nubian. And for those of you who are returning, what's up, y'all? Welcome to a most prestigious time in the now where we are seeking the Father's face regarding what are our specific instructions to what we have to do in the coming days ahead to make sure we can hear those words, "Enter in thy good and faithful servant." So in the coming days ahead, what the Father has been sharing with me is that so many of us here, we are to study Leviticus 23, first and foremost. As March the 14th approaches us, it's going to be a blood moon eclipse all over the globe. And as we get ready for this blood moon eclipse that's going to happen on a Sabbath, we are to make sure that we are ready to go before the Father. But in going before the Father, even right now, I know y'all feel it. Everybody feels it. So if you feel like you're under pressure, you feel like you're under stress, you feel like you're under a lot of, let's just say, mental pressure, you feel like the strong man has got you, you feel defeated, you feel accused. First of all, the energies are coming in because Passover is coming in. Keep in mind that they're getting ready to sacrifice the red heifers. And as we get closer to Passover, as well as the blood moon eclipse, you're going to start feeling more and more pressure in your system. More and more pressure because it's important that you become that diamond in the rough. You will not find no diamonds at all that exist that have not gone through deep purification, deep pressure. So the pressure is on, sisters and brothers. The pressure is on for you to ask yourself, are you going to buck and fold under pressure, or are you going to continue to look forward and to loving the Lord thy God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul? The hour is amongst us. not only to where we have to prepare ourselves to prepare for the zombie apocalypse, but we have to prepare ourselves to make sure that we can hear the words, "Enter in, thy good and faithful servant." So, in the coming days ahead, as we get closer to Passover, you're going to feel more and more pressure. You're going to feel more and more attacks. Now, these attacks are not to make you weaker. They're not to make you buck and fold. We have to become stronger. We have to become wiser. We cannot fall down. We cannot begin to cry. Keep in mind that our Father puts his greatest soldiers on the front line. And if you're on this channel, you're on the front line. So here we are on the front line, equipped in ourselves in Ephesians 6, knowing that we are protected by Psalms 91 as well as Psalms 23 to step into these hours. Also keep in mind that monitoring spirits are always going to monitor us. They're going to monitor us because they want to know how much time they have left. They want to know how much time they have left to either be in their sin, or how much time they have left to even torment you or to get you to fall. But your job is to focus on the Lord thy God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul, and to worship our Father in spirit and in truth. So as these energies amp up, you must also amp up your own energy. And this is why here I have been sharing with so many of you that we are collecting the things that we need as we are building our own personal prayer closets. So if you haven't heard, here at Little Promises, we're building our own prayer closets. So find a corner in your house, in your room, a space that you are very comfortable in, wherever you pray. Or if you can't find a place at all to pray, even if you're in your car, we're using the glove boxes. If you're homeless on the streets, then we're using the trees to go pray around the tree. Just get a blanket and sit there under the tree and pray. But we're using this time to build our own prayer closets before our Father. And you're going to be mindful to not let anything to distract you at all in this hour, because these are the times that you have to go in on speaking to the Father the most. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to a video that I want all of you to begin to play this video at night. When you play this video at night, it's about 7 to 8 hours long. When you play it, pay attention to your dreams. Write down your dreams. It's going to begin to bind, rebuke, cast out specific things in your energy, specific things in your life that you may or may not have known about. But a lot of these energies that they're going to begin to cast out or to bring up in your prayer closet or prayer world or dream world is because a lot of these dreams, a lot of these generational curses that have been amongst us come from not only things that you have done, but things that your mama, daddy did, your grandma, grandpa did, your great grandma, your great grandfather, they have done. But these things have not been brought up. They have been hidden behind cloaked energies, cloaked fragrances in the spiritual realm. So now, as we step further into this year of Jubilee, it's still a year of Jubilee. However, stepping into the year of Jubilee does not mean that it's all peaches and cream. It does not mean that it's all about finances. It's all about breaking generational curses. So therefore, you can step into the knowing of what it is that not only is your birthright that you have been robbed of, but your grandmothers, your mamas, your daddies, your sisters, your cousin, all they birthright, because you are the one that is breaking generational curses. So therefore, in order to break generational curses, you must break those curses in order to step and stand into the gap to retrieve and receive the things that are for you, to retrieve and receive the things that your grandmother and your grandfather, even though they may have passed on, there are specific promises that God has promised them, that God has not broke his promise, but those specific promises have been passed down to you. But for you to receive them, they're not just going to come just by you being handed a Christmas present by Santa Claus. These things are going to come from straight spiritual warfare. And as the Bible tells us, certain things are only going to come out through fasting and prayer. So this is the hour of fasting and praying. This is the hour of going through straight spiritual warfare, to where you go into praise and worship. You go into battling demonic presence, demonic entities. You do binding and casting. You put on the full armor of Ephesians 6. You walk in Psalms 91. You must also know that the Father tells us that I will keep him or her, I will keep thee in perfect peace, whose minds are stayed upon me. So you must keep your mind upon the Father. You must know that the enemy does not want you to read your Bible. The enemy does not want you to pray. The enemy does not want you to fast. The enemy does not want you to sing praises to Abba Father. So the enemy will do everything in his power to distract you. Now, this distraction can come in many forms. The distraction can come in you just being distracted altogether, so you're just overworked. So you're overworked, you're overtired, or it can come into the form of just somebody finally get on your nerves to where here it is, you explode. Or you can get to the point to where you have to pay attention to people that are around you. Because even though God can send you on a specific assignment and God can give you the instructions of what to do on that assignment, you may want to take people along with you on that journey. And as you take people along with you on that journey, you have to be very cautious and make sure that you are sticking to the script. You are sticking to exactly what it is that God gave you instructions to do. Not get so comfortable to where here it is, now you're around all these different people and new people, to where now here it is, you're following their script. Be very cautious of that, because here it is, we're in the hour where you have to pay very close attention to what it is that the Father is telling you to specifically do. Make sure that before you make a move, that you are checking with our Father. Make sure that not only you asking the Father about specific people that are around you, but that you're constantly checking the Spirit. Father, is this person for you? Father, are these people sent by Satan? Because the devil comes as an angel of light. So you have to make sure that these people that are around you are sent by the Father, are willing to do the Father's will, are willing to walk in the statutes and codes and the decrees of biblical standards, and make sure that these people love the Lord thy God with all their heart, mind, body, and soul. And the way that you can do that is praise and worship. The devil, demons, minions, they hate praise and worship. So in this hour, as we're stepping forward to see our instructions and what it is that the Father has fit for us, we must also make sure that we are fit for the kingdom. And making sure that you are fit for the kingdom is going to consist of you being very focused in this hour of building your own altar to the Father. As the Father tells us, where is your altar that you have built for me, daughter or son? Where is your altar that you have built for me, children of the Most High Living God? So here it is. We're in this place. If you find yourself attacked in any way, shape, or form, begin to praise the Father. Begin to give the Father the glory. Begin to give the Father the honor. Because first of all, it is the Father who allows any type of attacks, any way, shape, or form. Because Satan must go to the Father to ask him for permission to attack you in any way, shape, or form. But the Father only allows these attacks to test your spirit, to test and see where you're at with him, to test and see where you're at with your relationship with him. So with that being said, incoming, we have the dollar is getting ready to crash upon us. As we know, especially if you're in the U.S. or you have slept in the bed with the United States, there's going to be a shift in the finances. And as the father is preparing his children, he's also testing his children to see, okay, where have they planted their seeds? Have they planted their seeds on fertile soil or unfertile soil? Also, incoming, what the father has shown me is that if you're in the United States, not just in the United States, but it's going to first start in the United States, and then it's going to begin to branch out. Earthquakes in these areas where the sand is going to dry up, where the earth is going to dry up. So many of you, you're going to be in places where when the flood comes in, if you felt that you're going to just save specific crops and you have not taken heed to the Father, if he told you to move or to leave, or you're more attached to your prep supply than you are in having faith in the living Father, and the Father told you to move, he's going to move you by way of flood. Your prep supply, your prep closets that you have prepped or have in place, or you feel is going to be your safety net, they're going to be wiped out. They're going to be taken from you. Others of you, this is how he's going to move you. Others of you, there's a dryness that's coming into your areas. Many of you are going to be preserved because you were very obedient to the Father. So you're going to see this happen to your neighbors, your friends, your loved ones, but your grounds will not be touched. So what the Father has been sharing with me, for those of you who know that you have done everything in your power to seek the Lord thy God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul, your grounds will not be touched. So what it is that you are to do is, you know how you go to the store and maybe you'll purchase water and you'll run out of a water jug. It could be maybe a water bottle from the store. It could be a Sprite bottle from the store, a Coca-Cola bottle from the store. It could be some type of little jar, mason jar, something that has maybe an old jar of spaghetti. So instead of throwing away these jars, you want to use those type of jars that you use for like spaghetti or sauces. Use those for rice. Store up rice. But what I'm also being shown is for the Sprite bottles, the old soda bottles, the old water bottles, don't throw those bottles in the trash. Begin to fill those bottles up from the sink. When you begin to fill those bottles up from the sink, you can always use these bottles, even buckets. You can fill buckets up with water as well. But when you fill the buckets up with water, research how you pour a cap or two of bleach in those buckets. Do specific research on that. Unless you have water tablets, then you can drop a water tablet inside of those buckets if you're going to save it by the large like that. But if you save like the little ones, like the Sprite bottles, the Coke bottles, the little things like that, the juice bottles, fill those up with water. Begin placing those under your bathroom sinks, under your kitchen sinks. Just save like milk jugs. Save as much water as you can in these type of jugs, because you're going to need the water. Even if the water is nasty, it doesn't matter if the water is nasty, because eventually it's going to be water. It's going to be what you need. The water is going to get turned off, sisters and brothers. There will be no more water that's going to come from none of your faucets. No faucets at all. Water will not come from the faucets. As a matter of fact, the Father is going to bring water to his sons and daughters. They're going to be pouring through rocks, not through water, not through the faucet at all. So while you can, fill up those jugs with water. You're going to use that water for bathing, washing your face, brushing your teeth. Many of you, it's going to be for cooking. It's going to be for hygiene purposes. It's going to be for cleaning purposes. But stop throwing away any type of soda bottles, any type of, plastic type of water bottles, because the Father says that the water is going out. The water is not only going out, it's going to be stopped completely. And as this water is stopped completely in many areas, other areas, the water is still going to be going, but the water is going to be poisoned. You're not going to be able to drink any of the water. You're not even going to be able to wash your face with any of this water. So this is a prophetic divine warning. I've given this warning out before, but the Father is having me come back here again to remind you that he's getting ready to flood specific areas, flood specific lands, flood specific islands, all the way to the point to where it's going to flood and then it's going to dry up, completely dry up. South Africa, you're another one, dry up, completely dry up. So save what you can. Some places, the water, the ocean's going to just pull it away, take it away. Even if you save it, the ocean's going to take it away. But don't worry about it because the Father's going to lead you to rocks where the water's going to spring up out of the rocks. But only if you're serving the Lord thy God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul will he take care of his own. I've seen it. I'm a living witness to it. And trust me, when the Father says he's going to take care of his children, you don't have to worry about anything. Don't fret. Don't worry about where it's going to come from. Even with the dollar, get ready to crash. It's an entire energetic shift that's getting ready to happen. So the Father says that he's not going to let nothing happen unless he first lets you know through his messengers. And he's letting you know that there is incoming catastrophic events that have everything to do not only with the landmass, but with the water. The water is going to stop. The water is going to dry up. The water will be poisoned in many areas. So, with that being said, this is not something to scare you. This is something to prepare you. This is something that should have already been done for many of you. But many of you, you probably already did it, but you had to pour the water out because you realized that where God took you, or where he is taking you, for many of you, that water is heavy, so you have to pour the water out. So now you have to restart over. So now if you're looking for confirmation, do I restart over? Am I going to be here for a little bit? Yes, that's the place that you are to restock up, restore up, because not only is there getting ready to be a crash of the American dollar that's going to affect so many people in the world that America has slept in the bed with, but also there's going to be an incoming flood for many of you places. And after the flood, there's going to be a complete drought. And because of this complete drought, many of you, you won't even have crops. You won't even be able to grow a garden. So this is why it's important that you dehydrate what you can right now while you can. And if you can't dehydrate it, find a way, look up solar ovens. If you can purchase a solar oven, that is good. If you can make a solar oven, that is even better. But don't worry about what it is that you are to eat. Many of you, many of us, all of us should be in training anyways, to where the Father is teaching us that his word is our food. Our love for him quenches our thirst. So I wanted to share this with you, sisters and brothers, to remind you that the Father has not forgotten you. He will not forsake you. If you feel pressure right now, if you feel a lot of stress on you right now, know that it is only the Father that is allowing this to make you stronger in your spirit. Satan comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So many of you may feel even amped up and pressure. And I'm not going to forget to post that link. Look in my community section on my YouTube channel. It's going to be called Post. When you look under the section called Post, I'm going to post a link, and I want y'all to play that for the next 21 days. Play that at night and allow the Father to pierce whatever is hidden behind the veils in your system that has a lot to do with your spiritual attack, purposely, presently, generational spiritual attacks that the Father wants to heal you from and to cure you from. Do not be afraid for what is incoming. Only be afraid if you're still living in sin and you're not seeking the Father in true repentance, because it is the Father that weighs the heart. The Father knows if you really love him or if you're really just faking the funk. The Father knows if you're really serving him. The Father knows if you're robbing him, if you're robbing your sisters and brothers, if you're stealing from your sisters and brothers, if you're not following the 10 Commandments, if you're coveting your neighbor's wife. The Father knows if you have other gods, if you're searching the tarot cards because you're impatient on what it is that God is doing in your life, so now you want to see what the future is. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So what he's going to do is put demons around you that's going to give you the desire and the craving and the taste for things that are still in your system that you used to be a part of. But it's a purge. It's a chance for you to purge those things out of your system. It's a chance for you to clear those things out of your system. It's a chance for you to be healed. Don't worry about the devil. Don't worry about Satan. Don't worry about their minions, because they're already defeated. As a matter of fact, whatever mountains that are in the way that are preventing you from stepping into your calling 100%, I command those mountains to be thou removed in the mighty name of Yahushua. And I decree and I declare that so many of you are going to walk by faith and not by sight, and you're going to step into your calling, and you're not going to be afraid of the terror that flies by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the destruction that walketh at noonday. You will know that 1,000 will fall at your side and 10,000 will fall at your right hand, but none will come nigh your dwelling, because he will truly give his angels charge over you as he already has. So get ready for the 3 days of darkness. Get ready to get your black trash bags, your duct tape to tape up your windows. Get ready to use your cardboards to board up your windows if you need to, your blackout curtains as well. And be mindful that whoever's outside of that door during the 3 days of darkness, if they're calling you and they sound like me, it's not me. I'm at my house praying and praying for so many of you. So trust me, it's not your son, it's not your daughter. Those things that are coming, they know how to sound not only like you, but they know how to sound like me. They know how to come in a form of me in so many of y'all's dreams, and you're being deceived. Satan is a liar. His enemies are liars. As a matter of fact, I bind and I cast into the pits of hell any dreams that any of y'all had about me coming to you as an angel of light, or even darkness in any way, shape, or form that have hurt, harmed, and injured you in any way, because Satan does that. He does that to so many of God's children. And here it is. So many of you are like, man, I had a dream about this prophet or this prophetess, and they attacked me in my dream, or Satan's giving bad light regarding the Father's prophet and prophetess. So here it is. You even have to pray over yourself. Make sure you say in your prayers before you go to sleep, because Satan ain't playing with y'all. So you shouldn't want to play with Satan at all. So know that this is the hour that you have to strengthen yourself, sisters and brothers. This is why I'm telling y'all to start building your altars before the Most High Living God. Don't play with Satan, because Satan ain't playing with you. I love you, but know most importantly that the Father loves you most. Amen.